So it's slightly less.
Whatever it is,
diameter.
populates
Yeah,
the
it's what's
island.
the
or-
thickness, right?
It's a guard buddy
No,
line.
21-inch line.
Tommy Doyle.
Yeah.
Not
Lives
the
over in the
fact,
woodlands.
since it's just so much more smoother,
He's
you actually get more velocity because there's less coefficient drag on it.
ATF.
So,
Yeah.
it's concrete.
ATF sweat tube, got a dog.
Oh.
Super
Go through all the
guy.
bombings, huh?
Super guy.
And guns, and worry about guns?
Well, I don't think the dogs are there to sniff out bombs and guns. I think they're to take down people.
No. Talking about taking down people. I sent an email, I got an
One of your
email
favorite
on the
things to
dog
do.
that, the favorite dog of the seals. I've never heard of it before, but this is the damnedest dog I ever saw in my life. It showed about a 2.5 minutes.
How you doing?
Very good. How you doing? You have copies of the
I
minutes?
saw that one.
Did I send it to you, maybe?
They're not in there?
I don't know.
Should be
but I-
behind the agenda.
I mean, it
I
was,
saw
No,
it
it
on
was in the
Facebook
packet.
or something.
Yeah, it's in the
Did you
back.
have it last
I
time?
saw it, it was the most amazing thing. I put it on that thing.
A Belgian something or other, wasn't it?
Building,
I'm
yeah,
checking my mail
something like
later.
that.
Yeah.
Pretty good sized dog.
Here, you can
You
use
wanna read
mine.
mine?
This is a total of what got on your thing. And just give that to me.
I'm sorry, I'm just different one.
Anyway,
I'll get Bob Smith since he's not here.
Okay.
well, mother-in-law and wife got back all right on United. Everything was on time,
We try to-
going and coming,
We try to do that as.
going and coming. I mean, it was
You need Tom to send you that.
absolutely,
I caught a couple of her pictures on Facebook.
did you?
And I got stuck
She
quite
wasn't,
domestically.
she wasn't messing around with some Frenchman or Irishman.
Not in the pictures.
I'm not every month I'll give you guys.
They were just in the background.
All this information.
You know.
I said that you're from.
Right, I got it.
I
Yeah.
did clarify. I forgot to ask where they wanted to
Yeah,
put
that's okay, you texted me and told me
it.
where you
Yeah, I
wanted it.
texted you, yeah, but then now I can put it in the
That's been
mailbox
all
or
we
your
go
front door,
between
wherever you
San
want. I mean,
Francisco
different
and
people want
Boston
different
and
places, that's fine.
Mailbox is fine. I just
DC.
didn't
Oh,
know
making,
what-
Yeah.
making the
You
coast,
should do
huh?
it for the
Oh, I was
meeting,
doing
so
domestic.
stick it in
I don't like
there.
that.
Why?
Front door's good, too
Too
much
short.
work, I don't hardly ever check my
Yeah,
mail.
It's too much work,
We have a
too.
P.O.
Well, yeah,
box,
they
so.
get
Talk on the radio. Well, yeah, you gotta talk on the radio about every minute. You go across
Every minute, probably every
Well,
2,000 or 3,000 minutes
you
sometimes.
go across, yeah, I think you don't talk to anybody for hours. you
Well,
know.
not unless you want to.
Oh, yeah.
You can always talk to Tully. Call the regular meeting of the River Plantation Municipal Utility District in order. And the first order of business will be to read minutes of the prior regular meeting in May. And after confirming those minutes, entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Pardon?
You miss, we have to start over?
No, I'll take notes, I know who said what.
All right, I didn't get a sign-up sheet. Does anyone in wish to speak? Speak.
During the Meet the Candidate forum that we had at the church, I had a chance to talk to Tommy Frank a little bit about the storm drain.
Uh-huh.
And he informed me that that storm drain, the procedure for cleaning it out was once every 6 months. Is that the standard procedure for cleaning out the storm drain?
Basically, yes.
Can I inquire when the last time it was thoroughly done from one end to the other?
Probably, I want to say probably in February or March. I'm going to guess. I can't tell you precisely.
2 years ago.
It was over a year ago.
Over a year ago. And the reason why?
Well, we normally don't clean it in the winter because it doesn't get full in the winter. We do it in the spring and
In the fall,
Right.
yeah.
But then we had the storm come through.
Well, that was in August.
Yeah, that was in August, so.
Why haven't we done it so far?
We can't get in there. That's what the repairs are for. I can't get equipment down the banks. And the bottom plates are so messed up that we can't drive one.
Are you talking about this one right over here?
Yes, Plantation Creek.
Well, that's just, yeah, the one that goes all the way
Right.
through,
Yeah,
Which is what he's talking about.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I stand corrected. There's the answer. What we have, Richard, we have pending a request for FEMA relief on all of the damage done to the drainage. And until that is approved, I guess we're gonna be hamstrung here in trying to get anything done, because all we'll do is just tear it up more if we try to do anything. So, once I don't know the status of it precisely today. What is it?
I'll update you on the manager's report, yeah, that's part of my report.
All right, well, just tell me now what's the status of just the drain system?
The current status is the FEMA and our engineer have finally agreed on the terminology, and so they're preparing the bid package right now. And once the bid package is completed, then we'll go out to bid on it.
All right, so we're a month or two away.
When we get the bids,
Okay.
then we submit them back to FEMA.
That's the best answer I can give you.
And is that to repair the portions that have been spray painted with white numbers?
Yes, sir, those are the points that they have identified.
Right.
If there's other points that have come about since that time, I'd be pleased to know about it.
Well, you can't spray paint on the bottom because there's
No,
water.
no,
but-
that's right.
Yeah.
It's a little hard.
Gotta have that quick drying paint.
But seriously, does that tell you what you know? It probably doesn't satisfy anything, but it tells you where we are.
Yeah. I'm not that overly concerned about it, or I wasn't until this weekend. And there were 3 children, girls, between the ages of 10 and 12, that actually rode their bikes down into the storm drain and were running through the weeds down there.
Yeah.
And you and I both know that's
There's a few
just a
snakes
hive
down there.
of water moccasins.
Oh, yeah.
So I had called the constable and they never showed up.
Well, that's common sense and
So
parents.
I rounded them up because they parked their bikes down at the bottom next to my property. And when they came back, I said, can we have a little chat here, girls? And they go, sure, and I was very calm, relaxed. I said, first of all, you're not supposed to be playing on the golf course. I said, while you guys were up there, there were people teeing off and balls were going over your head. And they're going, oh, really? They hadn't even noticed. And I said, yeah, you're not supposed to be riding your bikes or playing on the golf course. I said, but more importantly, I'm concerned about your health when you're playing down here in the storm drain, which again is not where you're supposed to be playing.
Yeah.
And I said, I have personally witnessed and helped kill 26 water moccasins right in this area right here that you've been running through.
Yeah.
And they could be back. I said, I don't know, there's too many weeds to tell, but you need to find someplace else to play. That's not, I mean, the pool's open, go use the freshwater pool. Don't get wet in the storm drain.
Sure.
And that's what they were doing. So,
Well, that's a parenting problem, as you well know.
oh, yeah, I found out they
And,
lived on Brandon, and that's all.
You and I were both that age once, if we could remember, we probably did many of the same things,
did. We did,
so,
yeah. Los Angeles
Anyway.
River,
whatever.
I'm guilty.
You too. Anyway, anybody else have anything? Yes, ma'am?
Okay, I'm getting back to the meeting you had last week, the one on the intervening in the lawsuits.
Okay,
Okay, in the executive session on the agenda, it said to consider pending or threaten litigation. Now, pending litigation means there's already a lawsuit.
there is,
And I didn't see any lawsuit
not
against
concerning
CIA.
us, but there was pending litigation between the RPCIA and River Plantation Properties.
Okay,
That was the
And-
pending litigation.
all right, and the item 3 was never discussed. That was consider intervention in pending lawsuits affecting district interest.
No,
Now,
we came after the meeting, after the interest, we came and made a motion to intervene, and the motion was passed unanimously.
yeah, but what was the district interest? That's what
Pardon?
What was the district interest that this was affecting?
That's
was
a
never
legal
mentioned.
matter which we're holding in confidence.
You're
We're
kidding.
intervening, if
We've
you're,
been advised by the attorneys.
it's just
Well-
advice of turn.
So we don't know why you're intervening.
We know why.
Well, we don't know why you're
No.
intervening.
If you're so interested, then may I suggest that you contact the court when they next have a hearing, because we'll probably be involved.
Okay, this doesn't have anything to do with the land for the well, does it?
After what?
The land for the well?
It has everything to do with it, I think.
Well, I guess I don't know why you would get involved in that when you could do eminent domain and just,
We
Take
can't
claim?
just do eminent domain in a litigated situation.
yeah, but, okay.
Litigation in an eminent domain is fine as long as you don't have any problems. But in a litigated situation, which is prevalent there now, eminent domain would take years, because the litigation has to be settled first,
Okay.
all right?
Well, no. I still have some more questions. Okay, now you're talking about this well and you're going to the attorney, but that well item had never even been an agenda item.
What well?
When you're talking about the well site, the new well that you need.
We haven't done anything about it, to my knowledge, other than just speak to one of the prospective bidders and trying to get some preliminary information.
Okay,
And now the litigation may have things tied up to where we can't do what we want to do.
Isn't there other properties around you could put a well site on? I mean, there are some areas that are vacant that you could use. Why are we going through this?
Well, number one, the facilities are already there. We wouldn't have to build secondary facilities.
Yeah, but I thought you're just building a well, you're not building a tank.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If we build it right there, we just drill a well. We don't have to build back any more facilities.
Okay.
If we make it a remote deal, we'd probably have to build more facilities.
Well, when you did the well at number 3, and that was built way before the tank, that was just the well, and the well piped over the 2. And look at how far that is. There was no plant there for quite a while, many years.
That's
before.
correct.
Yeah, so that could be the same thing here. You could put a well someplace else.
And lay a line.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And
yeah.
we'd probably end up
increase
having to lay it
cost.
across golf course property at some point. And if we did, the property's in litigation, and whether or not we could ever get it across is another matter. Do you see what litigation has caused?
Well, I'm wondering what's gonna cost us.
I don't know.
Well, the thing is, it's still
CIA is
like
the
a
one that
time
brought
thing.
it. I don't know what
Yeah, but it's
it's
like
gonna
a
cost
time
anyway.
thing, and we're involved in this. You know, I didn't know what the rush was,
The rush for what?
to get involved in intervening in a lawsuit.
Because there was rumored that there were negotiations ongoing and a settlement could be reached.
Okay, well then everything would be done, and then you could just go in your normal pattern? I mean, I don't know what the
I don't
deal
know,
is.
that's a legal matter, I let them worry about the intervention part.
Okay, well, it kind of was a little confusing, a little, just
You-
wondering.
Okay, are we through?
Well, let me see, let me
Well, now,
look
wait
at
a
my
minute. We've
list.
about
here.
used up 3 minutes.
Well, gee. Oh, I'd like to know why the minutes are not being approved at this meeting for that meeting last week.
Because they don't have to be approved until the next meeting, because along with these meetings, which were June meetings,
Okay,
okay?
all right, I think,
Is that all?
well,
That's enough.
that's enough for now, I can get you
Thank you.
later.
Young lady, would you care to say?
I'm just listening and
Okay,
taking it all in.
fine. All right, bookkeeper's report?
Should be in your packets there.
Anything unusual? I didn't look at it.
No,
I didn't
everything's
see it.
fairly normal. The 2 big checks are out of there, as you can see, for pay estimate number 5 and pay estimate number 6 for the cruise tech project.
That
87.
91,000 in the.
Yes.
87,
Yeah, they
91.
are there.
Yes.
Yeah, $176,000 worth.
I'm maintaining enough in the checking account to cover those, so we're still good.
Nothing comes cheap anymore, does it?
So how much more do we have left on this project to write checks for?
They just finished the last segment yesterday. They're televising it today and doing cleanup. And the entire project is completed.
Okay.
They've done all the rest of the 21-inch clear to the plant. And the one on Merrimont, they did the point repair and they fixed that one on Monday. So this is it. This is now.
They're wrapping up and they'll be gone tomorrow?
They're wrapping up, yes. Well, they'll be, not tomorrow, but the next day. They're doing cleanup and then landscape replacement and the usual fine tune stuff.
Okay, so the liner's in place and all they're
Yes.
doing is just,
All the liner and the contract is in place.
okay. So the plant ought to be full of sand by now.
I've already had it pumped.
Okay.
It's not anymore.
Has he seen any increase in rates, intake?
Yes. And understandably, since the line is so smooth, the velocity gets detected.
Pardon?
Since the line is smoother now, his rates go up
Yeah,
fast
I know,
now.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm asking.
Yeah. So, but we've got one area that, that we're gonna work on, because I think we have a problem in it, and I wanna get it done before they leave, if possible, so.
And that is?
The 18-inch coming underneath the bridge up here on Stonewall Jackson, I think it's got a crack in it. And we're gonna shoot a camera through it tomorrow or Monday.
You mean where the liner's already in?
Not our liner, but the liner that was installed by In Situ Form in 1995.
So this was lined back in 95?
After the 94 flood,
Okay.
that section was lined from there to there and from there to there and from there up. The problem is, when we backed up the system so they could line it, the segments down below, all the backup started coming up and it started coming out places it shouldn't have come out. So I'm going, okay, then, so we got a problem in this line right here. So now I have to shoot a camera down and find out what happened. Something shifted underneath that bridge.
But it's in a situation where we probably can't get to it.
Well, we can still do the lining. So
Well, I mean, from either end, we can maybe get to it, but I'm talking about we can't expose it.
Right. Provided it's not shifted to the point where we can't get a liner through it.
Yeah.
Then we
we'd
have to do a
replace
point
it.
repair, now we're talking.
Then we're having to replace it.
That's correct.
We just have to bypass it, cut it off both ends and bypass.
But right now, I want to get it televised and see if we can get the liner through it before the thing collapses.
I got it. All right. So it's a never-ending project. Administrative reports. How much
Okay.
water did we use last month?
Administrative reports, it's got some things I need to point out to you. We've had some issues with the system last month. In one day, we had 5 broken lines, and we lost a lot of water. As you can see, it's the most we've ever lost in the history that I've been here anyway. We lost about 4.4 million gallons.
30%.
In 1 month. That's a record. I've never done that before. But we had major breaks, and they were flowing down the street like rivers, you know, and we had that one over in Brandon Road, and the one on Rowan Oak, and the other 3 up in the front areas. And we got those fixed, and so what I'm gonna do is monitor this next month, and hopefully that number's gonna go down. If not, there's another problem area, but right now, I don't think, the system is in good shape right now because it's staying pressurized and the pumps aren't running continuously anymore, so.
Well, may I suggest that if we have another instance where we have greater than 10–15%, más o menos, loss number, that we consider going to a leak detection people and see what we can find
Yeah.
out and more. At least investigate the cost
Right,
of our main lines.
right.
I don't know that we could do that on all the little lines, but possibly you can isolate them enough off the main system to at least leak detect on the main lines.
Surprisingly, these major leaks that we had, there was only 2 major cracks in the main lines. The other 3 were all minor ones. They were
Yeah.
all service taps that blew off.
Could I was gonna say, could any of it be tied to the flood, to the hurricane or anything?
No, a lot of it's tied to ground shifting.
Well, it's all,
Yeah.
it's all tied
Well, I'm wondering
to
if there's any
the type of
drawbacks.
soil that we're in.
Right, exactly. It shifts and moves, it gets dried out, at the clay areas are where we, like I tell Tim.
We
that's
go
where we have
through
the big
drought,
items. Right.
drought periods, and then we go through,
When you're transitioning from a wet period to a dry, that's when.
that's
you've got
where
ready to
things
go.
happen.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, I also included in your packets, the monthly GRP report. You can see where we stand as far as our water is concerned, staying in compliance with the GRP. And again, I was gonna update you on the Cruise Tech. You also got in your packet pay estimate number 6. You can see the total amount we paid out so far and
By the
what we
way,
have left in retainage.
just to refresh my memory,
Yes,
our GRP
yes,
is totalized or netted out on a yearly basis, not a monthly basis.
that is correct.
All you're doing here,
It's showing the progression through the year.
yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I was correct in that assumption,
That is correct.
because, and it goes with what our allotment plus EP's allotment
Right.
plus the golf course allotment.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, as the sponsor, I'm looking at the bottom line at the end of the year for all 3 entities.
Yeah.
So right now, you're saying that we're running 196 million under
Correct. As of the end of May.
the
Under the
allotted amount.
Correct.
So,
We're in good shape now, but summer's coming.
well, yeah, we understand, we have million gallon days during July, August,
That is correct.
and we may have already had some with your leaks and all.
Well, I was gonna say, who are some of these, I was looking at these, 15 accounts use over 50,000 gallons?
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah.
That's nothing. Wait till summertime comes.
Wait.
Is that water in the yards, or is that pools that have leaks, or what is it?
Whatever they're using it for. In the summertime, it's not uncommon to see over 100,000.
You'll be surprised how many are over 100,000.
That's right. And they don't have any problem paying the bill. They just pay it. You have to remember, we're a very low cost for
Yeah,
water.
I know.
And some of them take advantage of that.
But I'm wondering if maybe we can't come up with a flyer to educate them or something about our responsibility and what it costs us if we go over that amount.
We will have to, we have a drought program in place
Correct.
that will implement if we start getting close to this point that, that might exceed. We have offered in the past, who was that, people out of the Woodlands, that did the irrigation surveys?
It was green.
I forget,
Something.
but we offered to partially pay for
For some
a
of
survey,
those. Oh,
if some of these big users
Right.
wanted. But,
I just can't imagine any house in River Plantation using that much water.
well, I
They
mean,
water,
you got
they water
people-
every day, they probably got a
Right.
double lot.
Oh,
They
yeah.
got the pool in the back.
Some people actually have greenhouses and they use a lot of water.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, it used to have, I know one, used to have one heck of a greenhouse there on Biloxi.
7? No, 6.
Charlie Lewis,
4, 5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where's Charlie?
yeah, Mr. Lewis, yeah.
yeah,
Nice
In
greenhouse.
a wood shop. You ever go in his wood shop?
yeah,
That was,
he was quite a guy.
He was.
guy I was in the guard with, his dad and Mr. Lewis were in Okinawa together,
Uh-huh,
and they were good friends.
He was
Spike's
a-
dad found out that I was from Conroe. He said, I got a buddy in Conroe.
Yeah.
We started talking. We were having some beers with his dad. Started talking. It was, well, yeah, he's in my neighborhood. I know exactly, where he lives. So.
anyway, you're absolutely correct. We have, I think we have, I wanna say 50 or so that customarily in the summertime use greater than 50 million gallons.
Right.
Is that correct?
I've
or
seen,
50,000 gallons,
Yeah.
50,000 gallons.
50,000.
I've seen over 100 customers use more than 120,000
Yeah.
gallons in 1 month.
Now, chances are,
11,
some of that's gonna go down,
right.
because we're probably gonna have fewer people here. I know our tax base is going down, from everything I'm being told. And, anyway. But our allotment's gonna stay the same unless somebody wakes up at the Lone Star Groundwater District. Are there anything else you wish to bring up?
I did have to adjust, just for your general information, I've adjusted the ratio between the wastewater usage between EPUD and us. That ratio changed because of the vacant houses that have dropped. So our percentage to pay for operation of the wastewater treatment plant has declined to that level, and EPUDs went up a little bit. But that's the normal contract that we have through the tri-party agreement.
How often can you adjust it?
I can adjust it monthly according to the contract, but we usually just do a certain term, 6 months or so. It's easier to keep all the calculations. It's an average.
What else? Nothing else? All right, as long as you brought the tri-party agreement up,
Yes.
that expires in April next year.
2019.
I've already been approached by EP to renegotiate the tri-party agreement. I'd like for each of you to consider how you want to approach it. My first impression is to have 2 of you meet with 2 of their representatives and come up with possibly a negotiated document such that you can present it then to both boards for approval. Or at least present it to the legal people, see whether they would approve it. But that is a pending matter, and since we no longer have any old or new business, and since the subject was brought up, I just want to tell you that that needs to be considered, and I would think that negotiations, I would hope, of course, I was asked several months ago to commence, but I don't think there's any need to commence until we kind of know what our situation is here as far as who's going to be here and who's not.
Yeah.
How many homes are we going to have in RPMUD, and how many are we not? And so far, I don't think that's ever been determined. I don't think the county has come along and said, this is condemned and it's to be cleared out.
They've got anything.
And I don't know when it's gonna happen, and that's what I'm waiting on. Okay? Does anybody else have any pending business?
I just have a question. When you were talking about, the league said the.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Could we, is this something that needs to be brought up because public comments are before?
I'm sorry. That's no
You can
problem.
speak to him after, I mean, I have no
It's no
problem with
problem.
that, it's just the decorum of the meeting. And anything else?
I have a topic I wanted to bring up, maybe we can talk about it next meeting.
All right, just
But
mention it.
electronic billing, I know it was something that was talked about during the campaigns to get us on electronic billing where a customer could go online and pay their bill, look at their account, things like that. And I know it's been brought up before from the public, and the response was that it had been looked at before and didn't seem to be worth pursuing. And
We have looked at it before, even while I've been here. If it's time to look at it again, maybe it's time to look at it again. You might want to place it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay.
And if you place it on the agenda, let's bring some data, either Richard or Tim or whoever, in support of whatever you wish to do,
Right.
okay?
Okay.
Anything else pending? Motion to adjourn,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, get your pencils ready.
When would be a good time to discuss what I missed last week?
You missed the dancing girl.
I was in Boston.
There's no dancing girls in Boston.
Yeah, but up there is there are.
Yeah, I guess they're all dancing girls in here enough.
So what's the process here?
Just,
Just grab.
are y'all
start signing.
are y'all
So you
signed up?
start, you just grab the checks and just.
start
one at a
grabbing
time,
checks.
Pass it to the next person, just keep on going down.
We need 3 signatures.
Oh, you gotta
Yeah,
have three?
always have to do 3.
Oh, I get this back.
Yeah, I finally got a copy of it.
The tri-party agreement. That's it?
That's it.
We each get a copy of it?
I can, now that I've
Can?
got it. And I've got it digitized now, so
Yeah, send it,
Yeah,
email it to me.
After he got it from me.
that's a big email, but I can do it.
It'd be interesting reading on across the pond.
Yeah, oh yeah, it'll keep you, you'll go to sleep real quick.
I don't like that stuff.
It's called the tri-party agreement, but in reality, there's only 2 parties in there now, and that's part of the revision that we're gonna do to eliminate that third party venture interest, whereas originally the developer of RP, and they're no longer here.
Would you
So,
get me a pen? I didn't bring one. Is this an extra?
I got another one.